I made a video where I failed at making clay, and I've been experimenting these past couple of days, so this time we're gonna do it right. First, you gotta find a good clay deposit. I got one right here. Now, this isn't the purest clay in the world, but you can definitely see there's clay in this mud. Once you got a decent sized pile, take this and just wash all the dirt off the outside of it. That's an optional step because we're gonna be taking all the sand out of it anyway. Try to collect as much as you can. And don't worry about drying it out because we're gonna be rehydrating it. Now get your biggest watertight container and put as much mud in there as possible. Don't fill it all the way up because we need some room for some water. Once you add your water, make sure all your mud's broken up. Then you stir everything up to suspend the clay in water and then let the sand settle to the bottom. Now, as if that didn't take long enough, we have to filter it through a thin cloth like a shirt. Make sure the cloth's just big enough to let the clay through but not any of the sand. Once that all filters through, it can take a day to a couple of days to all settle at the bottom. Luckily, in that bucket, I have some that already settled. Now, you can pour this water off if you want, but I find it more efficient just to get something and scoop the water out. I take a couple scoops, let it settle for a day, and then start the process again. Now get a thicker cloth like a hoodie that won't let the sediment through. Now you're always going to have a little bit of waste, so it's good to have a big metal thing like this to store all your waste in. Now you want to cover it up and let that water drain out a little bit. And I don't know if you saw my mishap there, but we're going to lose a little bit of product. Good thing I made 2 buckets. And after a couple of days, it should look something like that. Then you want to take it and hang it up. This will let all the water drip out so it can dry fully. Now once you got your buckets free, you can really just restart the process. And if you haven't noticed, other than actually getting the clay, this process isn't labor intensive. It just requires time, space, and meticulous planning. But that means when you have your system set and you're bored, you can just spend your time doing something like this instead of doom scrolling. And after a couple of days of hanging, it should be dry on the top part and feel like clay when you squeeze it. When you open it up, you get something like this. Unfortunately, your first couple of times especially, you'll probably have a little bit of impurities that'll make it impossible to kiln it without cracking. You might be able to see a few there. This one turned out to have a few more impurities than my first one, so I'm not even going to try to kiln it, but I'll keep working on my process and hopefully get it really good. I think if I filter it a little bit better, it'll come out perfect, but if you want to see my journey making clay and doing a whole bunch of cool off-grid survival techniques, like and subscribe. This video took over a month to make, so please show some love.